Can you take Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin together? So it's a great question because a lot of times we enhance the utilization of Tesamorelin by adding Ipamorelin. And in some studies it shows you can enhance it up to 40%. So what I'm going to do in this video is unpack the way that you can best utilize these when it comes to enhancing your sports performance, your athleticism, and if you're just looking to put on more muscle mass so you look better in the summer. So let's jump in. So what is Tesamorelin? Tesamorelin is 44 amino acid chains that works on the growth hormone secretion pathway. So essentially it works on your pituitary so that your body makes more growth hormone, because as we age, and some of the research what it shows is our growth hormone declines by about 3 to 4% every single year that we're over about the age of 40. In fact, some of us, we actually start losing growth hormone close to about the age of 30, and that's when aging starts to accelerate. So what we want to do here at Ageless Future is we want to decelerate aging and help you have great muscle health, great brain health, and have robust cardiovascular fitness. So how does Ipamorelin tie in? Well, one of the things that happens when you have growth hormone is you get really hungry and you want to eat everything out of your fridge. Now, if you have teenagers at home, just watch how much they eat, and you'll be shocked at how lean they can stay. You probably remember that when you were a kid. You could just like go in and eat everything, and then you sleep great. You wake up the next morning feeling amazing and refreshed. Well, that's because of growth hormone. Growth hormone is one of the most powerful, what's called anabolic hormones, or it helps us build muscle, it helps our connective tissue, helps our joints. We need nutrients in order to do that, so it does stimulate the appetite. When you bring in Ipamorelin, it works on the ghrelin pathway, and it's another pathway on the pituitary gland that helps stabilize the appetite, so you don't get as hungry when you stack Ipamorelin with Tesamorelin. Now, if you want to go to the next level, then you'd use like a GLP-1 agonist like semaglutide, tirzepatide, or even retatrutide. But for this video, we'll talk specifically about the growth hormone peptides. So when you're using Ipamorelin with Tesamorelin, what the research shows is you'll have about a 40% greater expression of growth hormone, you'll have a longer half-life, and you won't get the same hunger. But what's really important for you on your nutritional side is making sure that you have your protein needs. And so ideally for an athletic person, someone who's working out predominantly, maybe 5-6 days out of the week, and let's say you're in your 50s, well, you're going to want to have at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You're going to want to use peptides like BPC 157, KPV, so that you're breaking down these proteins. You'll want to use digestive enzymes, because the last thing you want to do is eat a bunch of protein and not digest it, because proteostasis is the process of denaturing these proteins so that they can become the essential building blocks for organs and tissues in your body. And if you're building out your body operation system and you're really looking to enhance your cognition, well, Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin do seem to be pretty phenomenal. One of the things that's been shown is that Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin improve the ability for IGF-1 to go in and start working at building muscles, stabilizing blood sugar, and activating muscle building. IGF-1 also goes into our brain and it unlocks the gene that allows for greater expression of BDNF. Now, BDNF, or brain-derived neurotropic factors, is one of the ways that our brains become plastic. So our brains can heal themselves and you can have better cognitive capabilities by using these peptides together. In one of the studies, what they found is they took men who were over 60 and they had mild cognitive decline, and they found that by using Tesamorelin, these men were actually able to improve their verbal composite scores, so they had better verbal fluency, they had better cognition, better executive function, they could make decisions faster, and their memory improved. What's not to like about that? The other thing Tesamorelin can do is it can lower cholesterol, lower triglycerides, and increase your growth hormone. Now, the downside of that is you can get more hunger. And many people take Tesamorelin because they're trying to get the six-pack. They want the muscular look. They don't want the skinny six-pack where someone just looks starved out and dehydrated. They want to actually look athletic and be athletic, and they want to have the physique that they've dreamed about since they were in their 20s. But Tesamorelin can help you get there. But if you don't use Ipamorelin with it, you do run the risk of having an excess amount of hunger. And I don't know about you, but my willpower, when I'm hungry, I'm like, okay, I know that's not the best thing to be eating right now. Like my wife just made these amazing cookies from kamut flour. She's like, yeah, I put protein in it. I'm like, yeah, well, there's like 2 sticks of butter, there's protein, but there's still sugar in there. But I walk by them, and if I'm hungry, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna eat 1 bite. And then I come back like 30 seconds later, okay, half the cookie. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, I may as well just eat the whole cookie. So I don't know if you're like me, but willpower can be detrimental in my longevity pursuit. So I have to get rid of all those things. Now, yes, there's worse things that you can eat, and this cookie is, it's fine. It's not like a big problem, but if I kept eating those cookies consistently several a day, it's gonna put me in a caloric excess state, and then I'm gonna start putting on fat if I'm not burning it. And so that's where Ipamorelin comes in. Okay, so when you combine Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin, you enhance the outcomes of both peptides, and you give yourself the freedom to not eat everything in your fridge. And so here's some of the research on using these together. So these peptides, yes, you can use just Tesamorelin, and that's what they did with Agripta is the pharmaceutical name for Tesamorelin, and it's approved to treat lipodystrophy in HIV patients. But here's some of the studies where you combine Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin. And we'll provide a link to this research in the show notes, but Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin peptide blend, they help with growth hormone deficiency because they're both working on growth hormone pathways. Ghrelin is one of the growth hormone pathways, and then Tesamorelin works on the growth hormone releasing peptide pathway. Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin peptide, if you look at it for lipodystrophy or the accumulation of visceral fat, some of the things that the research has showed is that when we have more fat around our bellies, we end up getting more insulin resistance. So dude, it's not just a cosmetic thing. Having that belly can actually increase your risk of congestive heart failure. And by the way, if the circumference of your waist, if it's more than twice, like if you measure the circumference of your waist twice and it's taller than you, you're putting yourself at greater risk of cardiovascular disease and limiting your future longevity. So using these together, what they found is it activates growth hormone, and then it causes this release of adipose tissue, and so you preserve muscle while burning fat. Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin improve cognitive function. I talked about mild cognitive decline, but when you use these together, it does seem to improve that mechanistic action. Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin, it works for type 2 diabetes. They found that hemoglobin A1C came down, C-peptide came down, and fasting insulin, especially in those who had visceral fat or that fat that gets stuck around our organs in type 2 diabetes. Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin, they help with the pituitary gland. And so in summary, if you look at these peptides, not only is it a gateway for having better muscular health, having better sleep, having more cognitive resilience and better cognitive performance, but it also is a great way for enhancing your body composition. Charles Euster, he is a dentist that I love read his work on longevity, but he took up bodybuilding at the age of 87. He put on 22 pounds of muscle in a very short period of time. And when people asked him, like, why did you start bodybuilding at such an old age? He said, well, there's some sexy 70-year-olds and I'm trying to turn their eye. So for those of you who want to look your best, feel your best, perform your best, Tesamorelin is a phenomenal peptide to help you get there if you do it the right way. So in these peptides, you want to make sure that you're getting it from a pharmaceutical source. Make sure you go to agelessfuture.com, schedule an appointment with myself or one of my providers, and we'll help make sure that Tesamorelin is right for you and Ipamorelin by looking at your blood labs. If somebody is willing to write out a prescription for peptides without looking at some data, you may want to question that, especially if they're growth hormone releasing peptides. But the biggest thing you can do for your health right now is start getting the protein you need, make sure you're exercising every day, make sure you're getting plenty of hydration, and then start mapping out your future. Have some bigger goals and bigger vision for your health. No matter if you're 70, 80, 90, even if you've lost all your muscle mass from an injury, Tesamorelin and Ipamorelin are a great way to get you there. And if you like this content and this video, make sure you subscribe and then watch my video on can you take Tesamorelin and Sermorelin together. I'm Regan Archibald, founder of East West Health. I'll see you there.